Google Cloud. So fully cloud-based database system. So then a user access your web server. At the time, web application server can be varied. Sometimes Django, you heard about in case of Python, or the NMSK, I will show you some of the example, but as long as it can be supported by the GCP, you can use any application server, web server, I mean. Okay? So this is the overview of the database system that you are going to implement. In short, all systems should be based on cloud. Then why Professor Lee stick on the only cloud? Why?
To be accessed for any time.
It will be sometimes we are saying the computing environment. So computing environment, a long time ago, 1970, 1980, at the time, computer is standalone. It's a centralized. There is no connection, you need to use dummy. Okay? Dummy means it's just a CRT monitor and the mouse, and you can use such a centralized database system. In 1990, end of 1980, 1990, it was changed into what? Downsizing. We have PC, then server is the PCs computer are connected to the server using what? Network. At the time, think about the 1980, 1990 internet was developed, and then PC, personal computer power, is up. So we are able to take out some of the centralized job to the PC. This is called the downsizing, or this is called two-tier system. So another computing environment. You heard about two-tier system. Client, server, database server. This is another computing environment. Then, how many? Client. Unlimited? No, it's limited. Because whenever you connect, if you took the network class, we need to establish the network. That means in the server side, resource will be allocated to the client. Okay? So number of clients are limited. Then how can you address that problem? By using hint. Let's say, suppose that we have 1,000 clients. How many of them are actively using the server among 1,000 clients? 1,000, all of them are using the server? No. When I was the administrator, actually before I moved to United States, I was the database and Unix administrator. So my company had 3,000 employees. First time we built such a downsizing system. So all employees log on in the morning to the server, 3,000 clients. Then when we check all their activity, how many of them are running actively? Less than 20 among 3,000. Then do I need to allocate all the server resource? Because of that, we need to upgrade. So instead, why don't we have some dedicated connection from here to process, like the 10 of them. Then we have 3,000 clients. Then request a.html file. Then one of them is available. Then assign available one and get the data and return to the client. That makes sense. And this is called middleware. This is a client, this is a server, this is called the 3-tier environment. If we use the middleware as the web, this is called what? Web application server, which you are familiar with. Okay? And also you are going to build such a 3-tier. That has been used and currently used a lot. However, we need to, in our IT system, like the UB, we need to build our own database. We need to build our own website. We need to have the property of client, PC, and everything. Sometimes upgrade, so your service will be stopped. And if we have the 10,000 students, we need to upgrade. It's painful and cost a lot. Instead, why not use cloud service, which means this is not my property. This is the like the Amazon, AWS, or Azure, Microsoft, or Google, GCP. Then we will pay by usage. If we use a lot, then the number of the CPU and the amount of CPU or number of connection, we will pay by usage. Okay. Then we don't have to purchase very expensive this one. So nowadays, also, for example, this is also another example. AI. What is the AI? Artificial intelligence. Everybody knows. Not only computer science, but non-computer science in normal person. Everybody knows nowadays AI. So they realize that our system needs an AI service. How can we do that? How can they do that? They need to study and everything? No, it's not easy to learn. Okay? And the deep learning, so it's not possible. Instead, they use the API service, AI API service. Google provides something, training, and just use this one using RESTful API, like that. So nowadays, our computing environment changed to such a, this is called cloud computing. So next decade, few decades, I believe, our computing IT environment changed to Google. So it's just a study nowadays. So your job, you should know such a new computing environment. So that is the main reason I change the data. I know it's the first time you need to know, you need to study, practice the cloud service and the setup. This one, I'm not going to Professor Lee does not provide dedicate the database server. You need to create and manage everything, but it will be rewarded. So this is the overview of the project that the computing environment that we are going to use. So first page is first you need to specify the UB event. This is an individual project. It's not the group project, individual project. You need to define the details, problem of the UB event. Like I'm going to focus on the athletic event only. Yes, that's a very nice idea. Or the event for the room reservation system. Okay, or event for the outside for to pay. You should have the payment like the non-UB, the outside external can use our facility. At the time you need to pay. They need to pay, and you can have the payment and so on. So think about what about the food? Food will be another entity part of the event system. Not only just the booking. So think about the creativity, like the functionality. That is the problem statement and plan for your project. Then, next thing is conceptual design. Conceptual design means doesn't need any database knowledge. Just in your mind, design. So what kind of, so based on the problem, so you will see the details of this item, the rest of the, but where can you find this document?
On GC.
Canvas. So anything, directional, everything can be found at the Canvas. I'm not going to provide a handout. So please visit the Canvas, then the download, this one. So then this is just the design, conceptual idea of that. Then we will create the MySQL database for each student. At that time, we will have the one more exercise. Then physical, and finally, this is an application part, like the web design. Okay. Meanwhile, you need to decide what program language I'm going to use and what the application web server I'm going to set up. Okay. Then to do that, you should be familiar with GCP environment. Okay. This is this will be the good experience to be familiar with the cloud computing. I have seen a lot of the small, medium-sized company. Even the big company, they build their own private cloud. So theoretically, it's the same thing, but they build, like for example, Goldman Sachs, they nowadays hire more and more IT person instead of the financial analysis. So because they will build such their own computing environment, cloud, and then use the AI or for their business model. So this is an overview. So first task is make the details of your problem. Okay. Then submit the document by the September 8th. So for example, I need to change the program languages that some of them are not supported by the Google Cloud. Okay. Yes, these are the list of things you need to do. Then go back to the syllabus. So project is throughout the semester. You have plenty of time, but I don't think it's enough. So you should start right away. The first thing, familiar with the GCP. So next week, the Wednesday, we will have the first exercise lab for the GCP setup. Okay. Any other things? I think that's pretty much. And final exam will be determined by the registrar office. I will announce. Okay. Any question? There are a lot of things you need to do throughout the semester. Okay, so before we start the first lecture, so same thing as the operating system. So first, do not expect every time. Yeah, some of the students just expect this project will be extended or the delay. I can do the later. So, but everything is a hard due date, hard deadline. Okay. So do not expect any extension. I already gave the couple of days late submission without penalty. So all the submission, not all, but most of them are Friday evening. But it's allowed to you to submit by the weekend. I already set up the late submission without penalty. However, after the weekend, so after the final available date, it will be automatically failed. So please try to make the due, any of the due. Okay. Then second thing is no copy. So it's so simple. So no plagiarism in this classroom. If I catch any suspicious thing or copy, some of the students just the copy and change the name. That's also copy. Okay. Some of the students download the template from website. Nowadays it's not easy to avoid from the. It's very hard to make the new projects, but the download and the recycle, but depending on how much you recycle, it will be also considered as the copy. The best way, do the homework or class activity by yourself, okay? So even though that is slow, but it will be worth it. So if you copy and it's a waste of your time, waste of my time, and waste of GA time. Okay? So don't think about such the plagiarism or any copy. I'm not tolerable any types of the plagiarism in this class. So this is just simple. Do it yourself. Okay? Do it anything by yourself. Okay. Any question? I try to shorten as much as possible for the introduction of this class, but it's already 11:55. Tanbin?
Yes.
Yes. What is the title of this class?
Sorry?
What is the title of this class?
Introduction to database.
Introduction. It's not introduction. It's advanced.
Okay.
Really
So I
advanced.
thought the title for
Uh-huh.
the
Ah,
category
okay. So this is the
advanced database.
advanced database design officially, but we will not cover only the designing part. In addition to the design, if this is an undergraduate course like the 350, so I can do the only designing part. But this is a graduate and advanced database course. So in addition to the, as you realize that from the syllabus, so we will cover, I think the 60% database design. Then 40% is the database technique, like the query processing, how to speed up to retrieve the data, and transaction management, and so on. So we will cover such a thing. Then, that's not my question. My question is, your question is, so what is a database?
Database is a collection of tables.
Collection of tables. Anyone who can understand her answer? Nobody else understand? Her answer is database is
Collection of tables.
collection of a table. You understand? Yeah. Then what is a table?
Collection of data.
Collection means it's a collection, right? And table.
Collection of data which is classified in.
Oh, she said a collection of tables,
Yeah, the data which is organized in rows and columns.
rows and column. And everybody understand? And you agree, right? Do not avoid my eye contact. So she said the collection of row and column. What is a row and what is the column? Front. Yes.
Rows are the horizontal ways in which you arrange the data. Columns are the vertical ones
Like what?
in a table.
She defined table is row and column. Like the spreadsheet, right? So why do we? So even though before you are taking this course, you guys know table, row, and column. Then why you are taking this course? So first, when I ask her what is the database, then she says it's a collection of data. So a collection of a table, right? Then that's pretty much true. Then I'm not sure what is a table, so she answered table is row and column. So row and column is horizontal and vertical representation of the data. Why do we need to do such a thing for the data? In other words, is there any other way not to use the database or data or the table?
Yeah, file system.
File system? Yes. Sometimes think about your laptop. Do you use any database or table, row?
No.
No, nobody use. Even Bill Gates, I don't think he will use database system to manage the several file. No, I don't think so. So then why do we need to use such a database in our computer system?
To classify objects.
Classify object. Yes, that's the good answer. What is an object?
It can be anything, sir, right?
Anything? Really?
Yeah, it can.
It's got
It can be
of
any kind of data. It can be any kind of data.
any kind of data. So object is the only way to represent the data? Yes or no? That's the one of a common mistake, I believe. Nowadays we use a lot of object-oriented program, object-oriented concept, object-oriented software engineering, which means we consider data as an object. That's the one way. Okay? Jump to the end of the class. We are going to use a relational database. Then relational database does not use object. Then what happened? So object-oriented concept is one of the way. So we cannot say that everything is an object. Okay? Then go back to my question. Is it possible not to use the database in our computer system? So one of the student answer, file system. So file is what? Entity? Have you ever used the term entity for your file? No. Why do you need a file? Keep what?
To store information.
Information. It's a little bit weird. So everybody said the file can be used for information, but not data. Is it possible to keep the data in the file? Yes or no?
Yes, it can be, but the difference is we are classifying and simplifying the data in the database, whereas in file system it's unstructured.
File system is unstructured. Then database is structured. So, do you agree the file system is unstructured? Anyone? There are a lot of things we need to discuss right now. So first, the structured, unstructured. What is a structure? That's a very good point. So what is a structure and what is unstructured? And also another thing is information and data. First, which one do you want to discuss? Data and information. Okay. So what is the data and what is the information? So when we are saying the file keeps a lot of information, or something information. But it can still keep the data, but most of students say the file has the information. But table or database has the data, not information. Then what's the difference between information and data?
Information is made out of data. Like raw data makes the information.
Mm. So do you understand her answer? Throughout the data, we can create or keep the information. Anyone else?
The pre-processed data which doesn't have any index or details, that is information. Which is processed and which can be arranged in proper index, that is data.
That's the slightly different, opposite opinion. Okay? She said, let me clarify, through the data we can create the information. She said, information, then something do, like the indexing or whatever, then we got the data. So what do you think?
Data we create information.
Database, data is information?
We create information.
How do you create the information? Okay. So it's still controversial in the computer science theory, okay? Especially information theory and data. But in my opinion, so let's say in terms of database design concept, in terms of database design, information is everywhere. Like the information about the school, information about the classroom. Somebody said, so can you give some information about the professor? Professor Lee is horrible. I cannot understand what he is saying and so on. So, but if you talk about the data for Professor Lee, please bring the Professor Lee's data. Then somebody type and print out something, the UV, the web advisor system, then they get the profile information. So in terms of the database design, database, the information are everywhere. It's not well organized. Some of them are organized, not well organized, and mostly unstructured information. On the other hand, data is something organized or structured, more structured. It's not clearly divided, but mostly when we are generally saying about the information and data, then what she's saying such an information is after we process the data, sometimes we can get the knowledge, useful information. That's what you are talking about, right? It's sometimes to differentiate, it's called the knowledge. Okay? Or sometimes it's called the knowledge discovery. This is the main topic of data mining. It's closely related, database and data mining, but not this one. So information and data. So you can understand what is the information and what is the data. But there is a controversial. Some of the textbook mention data is everywhere and after processing is a kind of information. At that time, the author of such a textbook focused on this kind of knowledge, limited, strict the definition of the information. But in general, so information are everywhere, like the temperature, the feeling, and the emotion. This can be also the information. But what we need is the data. So who uses such a data? It's a computer. Okay? Computer. So what is your major?
Computer science.
Computer science. Any computer engineering?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Still, your major is computer, right? So computer, we are dealing with no matter what subject you are taking, no matter what major you are doing in the computer science or computer engineering, we are dealing with computer. Then computer use such a data. However, computer is a very simple the machine. It's based on 0 or 1 binary number. A lot of binary number. Then how can represent such a data or something information? How can order? That means it's a structure. Organize, make the different order. Okay, so that is the structure. That is the, if you focus on such a structure, data structure class. If you are taking such a data structure class, what did you learn in your data structure class? Stack, queue, linked list. It's organizing such a data. Okay, so that is a data structure. So that is the data. So data is useful information. Let's define in this class. It's not general definition in this class. It's a useful information. However, it's too high level, the useful information. Eventually, we are going to use a computer. For computer processing, we need the data. Then what is a database? When we have like the collection, very large data. So it's hard to manage such the data. So why don't we combine such information and such a data? Then we can have the database. Then, when you just collect like this one, and using the big bin, and put into the bin the data? No, computer cannot do that. Instead, computer need to organize, make the order, make the structure. That specific order, that specific structure, that specific organization to build a database is called database model. What is a model? Fashion model. So for example, if you think about the fashion model, what is the main job of the fashion model? To represent the face and the body? No, it's the clothes or art or something like that. At that time, to show up the new design clothes, who will be better, like me or the nice body shape? So model, idea. Definitely fashion model will be better because his body shape is a kind of ideal body model. Similarly, the database model. Model is something, idea, concept. Okay? For example, I need data, student data, like the Lee and the Potter and the James. So I need to build a database. At that time, how to build a database? We need to something model, rule, ideal case of the to define this one. Okay? So this is called the database model. Depending on how to model, how to define this, there are a bunch of different ways. If you are using something network database model. If you are using hierarchical model is like that. There's a bank, branch 1, branch 2, branch 3. Each branch has a saving account, the checking account, the loan account, checking loan, something like the hierarchical model. This is a hierarchical database model. For example, object. If we use this data as an object, this is an object-oriented database model. Then one more thing is relational database model. Relational database model consider data as a relation. Then what is a relation? Relation. You and your girlfriend relation. Something family relation. It's a relation. No, actually not from such a relationship. Relation, when we are saying the relation, where is it? Relation, this is the same meaning as the